Welcome to Post-Fight Podcast in... I'm going to do that again.
Brazil.
Yeah. Not in Brazil. We are in...
Brazil.
Yeah. All right, welcome to Post-Fight Podcast. We are in the lobby of the Ibis Ambassador City Centre Hotel. This is Nick Atkin, South China Morning Post, joined by Jennings from Asian Persuasion MMA and Mr. John Hyon JHK MMA. John,
how you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Leon,
Very well, very good.
I think you can all see we're pretty tired because it's about 1 a.m. We just got back from UFC Busan and we were going to review the show for you lucky people. Fight night. Yeah, I guess there's only one place to start. Main event, Korean Superboy flattened Frankie Edgar in about 3.5 minutes.
Korean Zombie.
What did I say? Superboy. Yeah, man, my brain is messed up. Yeah, Korean Zombie flattened Frankie Edgar. 3.5 minutes. Were you surprised, John?
Somewhat. I thought it would have took a little bit longer. That's what you learn to expect out of Frankie Edgar, is that he's going to weather the storm. But it seems like his age is catching up to him.
Yeah, 38, right?
Yeah, exactly, 38.
Yeah, he looked bad from the first shot that wobbled him, and he kind of staggered backwards, didn't he? Then fell. I was surprised he didn't get finished on the ground. Were you surprised it went longer than that?
Yeah, like I say, on one hand, you expect Frankie to hang in there, but then Korean Zombie just looks so good. Yeah. I think more maybe that than it's probably a little bit of both, but particularly Korean Zombie just looked phenomenal recently.
Yeah. And he called for Volkanovski afterwards. Do you think that's the fight to make, John?
Exactly the fight to make.
Yeah.
I feel that the Korean Zombie is in his prime right now. And if you look at it, Volkanovski is also in his prime, so it's the best time to fight. And where else? Australia. But the thing is, it might not even happen. The reason why is Volkanovski's hand is broken. He just had surgery. And then in the post-fight presser, the Korean Zombie revealed some secrets, that his eyes are messed up. He has double vision, so he has to get surgery on his eyes. But it seems like that's not nothing that's too serious. So he should be back in the first quarter of next year. So maybe it could happen. I don't know.
Yeah. I was a bit surprised by that. The eyes. What did he say? He had 20/20 vision or double vision or something?
Double vision, yeah. They're kind of the opposite.
Yeah. I am tired, yeah.
The crazy thing is, I mean, if he looks that good and he's seeing double, imagine if he could see normally.
Yeah, Frankie would have been even worse off, wouldn't he?
But back to fighting for the title. Yeah, I'm not sure if that happened. Obviously, he's going to have operation on his eyes. Volkanovski's broken his hand. There's a good chance Max Holloway will get his rematch as a dominant champion. I think maybe Brian Ortega could be a good fight to make. It's supposed to fight obviously tonight. I wouldn't complain if Korean Zombie got a title shot. I think he deserves it, but I think it's more likely that he won't get it next. So then I think who better to fight than Brian Ortega? Yeah,
I personally was looking forward to seeing that fight. I was sad that fell through when Brian tore his ACL, I think. Do you want to see Max and Alex rematch?
Not really, to be honest with you. I thought that Alex did a perfect job planning for that fight and executing, and it wasn't as close as I think people thought that it was that close. I don't believe so. And I feel like it seems like Max, he doesn't seem like he wants the rematch. It's not like he's screaming at the top of his lungs for a rematch. So he might be ready to take some time off, relax, and kind of recuperate and regroup and maybe come back and, maybe in like 6 months or so, which means I don't think it's going to happen.
Yeah, an immediate rematches never really do it for me. If Max loses again, that leaves him in the wilderness for potentially a long time if Volkanovski beats him, and then, I wouldn't mind seeing Max take some time off. Anyway, let's get back to the show. We had a cool co-main event, I thought. I really enjoyed this one. Two big boys hitting each other pretty hard. Volkan Oezdemir beating Alexander Rakic. Split decision. It was razor close, wasn't it?
it couldn't have been much closer, really.
Yeah, literally not.
I mean, 29, 28, 29, 28, 28, 29, and it was physically that close as well inside the octagon. Do you think the right man won? I think he just eased it. But I mean, I couldn't really split them apart, really.
I was fine with that. I think Volkan would have had more of a case to be upset if he'd lost that decision. That John?
I thought it could have went either way, but that big hematoma on the leg, I think it affected a lot in the judge's eyes. Seeing that visually, on someone, but it didn't affect Rakic. He was kicking with it. He was getting hit over and over. What a tough guy, he just went out there and he never switched stance. You know how the commentators always like, oh, he needs to switch stances. Wait until he switches his stance. He never did, which shows you, the level of toughness he has. But I was pretty shocked that he wasn't as aggressive in the fight. I expected him to be more aggressive than he was. But I guess when you're fighting someone like Volkan who can take your lights out with one punch, you got to be more strategic in your approach. So, but like going back to the decision, it could have went either way.
I thought Alexander got tired visibly in that third round. I think from the takedowns, and Volkan was stuffing them pretty well. I think that for me was the key. He just couldn't take him down, right? That's a lot of energy you're expending.
That is a lot of energy, yeah. And obviously his leg would have played a factor. I mean, I've never seen an injury quite like that. It was quite unique.
Yeah, you were pointing at it to me, and I was like,
yeah, I mean, it looked like he had two kind of tennis balls sticking out of his leg. And on top of that, his whole the top of the leg didn't look too clever either. So that would have taken out. But like you say, it didn't seem to affect his face. Never changed once, and he just kept going. But maybe inside, energy-wise, it did zap him a little bit.
Yeah, that's not, and it's not the last we'll see of Rakic. I think he'll be back. He'll be a contender for sure. But Volkan called out two people, Anthony Smith and Dominic Reyes, who both beat him. It seems like he knows that obviously Dom Reyes is busy, going to fight John Jones in February, I think, in Houston. So Smith v. Volkan, do you like that one rematch?
No, I don't. Because you see Smith, Smith wants to fight Teixeira. Yeah. And it seems like that fight's going to happen, and I like that fight. And I feel like Volkan should fight someone that's coming up. Even though he's been fighting all the top guys, but I feel like he could kind of step back and take on another prospect, and just show a little bit more. Maybe, get a first-round finish and then, hop into that top 10 once again. Because this fight, it was just, I don't know, it just didn't do it for me.
It's fair enough. Yeah, okay. Korean Superboy, not Korean Zombie. I got it right this time. Bit of breaking news from John. Please fill us in.
Well, the Korean Superboy, he broke his forearm in the first round. And on the Instagram page for Team Mad, which is his team, they put up the x-ray, and it looks like he's just snapped the whole forearm. And that's a nasty injury to be fighting through for 3 rounds. Most likely it was probably, Leon was saying, probably one of the spinning back fists that he was throwing. I think he threw a bunch of them, and eventually one of those probably snapped his arm.
Yeah, so it was TKO Charles Air Jourdain getting the victory by the Canadian. Were you impressed by Charles, Leon?
I was, and just impressed by the fight. I mean, I've won fight of the night, and rightly so. And Jourdain, he said to us, didn't he, in the media, he didn't want a quick finish. He wanted to give the fans a war. That's exactly what he done. I think it was his second fight in UFC, first to win as well. So to go in there thinking, I need a win, I lost my first fight, but I want to give you fans a war. Quite impressive. And then to follow it through.
It was pretty back and forth first round, wasn't it? I think they both dropped each other.
Yeah.
And then second round, maybe that injury was just making a difference.
Definitely, it was making a difference. I I feel like if any of our forearms was broken, it would make a difference in anything we do. You
I wouldn't be holding the microphone.
Yeah, exactly. We're on the computer typing away. It would make a huge difference, So I feel like the Korean Superboy. Everybody believes he would come out and be different, but he wasn't different.
2 years out. Nearly,
2 years out. He's been trained the whole time. Everybody's like, oh, he's going to come out different. Or he said he was going to come out different. And he didn't. He looked the same. He used the same combinations, the same techniques, except for he added some spinning back fists, which didn't work in his favor. Yeah. And I was really disappointed in his performance, to be honest with you. Even though it was like a fight of the night, I felt that he could have just went in there and steamrolled Jourdain, but because he never changed and evolved, it turned into a fight of the night, which is good and bad.
Oh my goodness, the noise of the crowd going flat when they realized that Jourdain won. It was like they just sucked the life out of the arena, right?
Well, yeah, but the decimal levels at some points during the night for the Korean fighters was unbelievable. I mean, we've been to some events in Philippines and where
it's always good.
And when you've got a country and they're so passionate about their home fighters, they're so loud.
I've never heard it
some
that
countries
loud,
more than that, but that was. Yeah. And Alistair Overeem said last week, didn't he? Wait till you hear the Koreans get behind their fighters. It's like nothing else.
That main event, the noise for Zombie, is the loudest I've ever heard. I think anything when he won.
That was crazy.
Yeah.
In your head.
Yeah. Yeah, the walkout. I missed the walkout because I had to go and take my tripod down because they were building the stage in the press conference. I was so annoyed. Been looking forward to that all week. One of my favourite songs. And then Jourdain said he wanted to get the bonus. He got the bonus, so he can now move out of his parents' basement, right?
Or maybe switch spots. I don't know.
We'll start paying rent. At least.
Give mum and dad a bit of rent. Pay the electricity bill. That's fine.
Thing is though, it actually worked 9 times out of 10 when a fighter asked Dana for that 50 G's, baby. It doesn't end well.
Yeah.
But he pulled it off.
Does Dana even decide these ones?
Good question.
Yeah. I don't believe he really decides any of this. I think someone else decides this.
What was it, like 9 a.m. in America? I don't know.
Well, he's got his little, when he done a little tour of his office, he's got his own little cinema.
Oh, yeah.
Where he says, every fight I'm not at, this is where I'll watch it in. Doesn't look too bad.
Maybe he was watching Charles in there and he felt, in the Christmas spirit, I'll give him his 50 G's, baby.
For the sake of his parents.
Yes. Okay, before that, on the main card, we also had... I just swore. I have to blur that one out. Remind me, man. My brain is just bloody foggy. Yeah. Talk us through it, John.
Which one? Which fight?
I can't remember.
Oh, okay. It was Park. Oh, okay. Chungdaeun.
Yeah.
Chungdaeun versus Mike Rodriguez, which I thought it was on paper a pretty balanced fight, an even fight heading into it. But Chungdaeun went in there and just flatlined the guy. I was so shocked because Mike Rodriguez is very explosive, and it seemed like maybe he felt like his job was on the line, and he was a little too tentative in the fight, and that kind of hurt him. And Chungdaeun landed a perfect punch at the same time.
Much better than his debut, right?
Of the night?
Yeah, I think it was, but you'd have to double check. But yeah, he looked a little bit better this time than his debut. He was quite jittery on that debut, wasn't he?
Yeah, but can't knock it tonight.
No.
You're only as good as your last performance.
Yeah.
And very impressive. And that was the point. I mean, the crowd were good all night, but
lifted a little bit.
That just went up another level.
Yeah, give me the sheet. I don't want to get it wrong.
I think
I was battling Wi-Fi and other issues, technical difficulties. Sorry, John.
Back to Jung, I think that he's a fighter that, in the Korean market, he's a Korean fighter that they can promote. He's somewhat good looking. He can fight. He's
not as good looking as Kang. We got to say it.
Okay, but Kang didn't look very good after that fight, right? If you've seen him. But yeah, Jung, he's finished both his fights, one by submission, one by knockout, And yeah, I believe in the Asian market. He's a guy that they could push and promote, and he's a very nice guy. You know, I've known him for a couple of years. Very nice guy. He's never changed. You know, he's just been the same guy, just working the gym, hardworking. Continued, because in the beginning he wasn't very good, but in the last couple of years he's just evolved into this incredible fighter. And I thought he should have won a bonus, because I thought that was like the best knockout other than Pantoja, you know. But you know, what can you do? You can't give every Korean a bonus.
Kevin, Dana said last week he was reminded of someone's good performance in the press conference. He went, you know what, I'm going to send him some money as well.
Jeff Neal, I think.
Jeff Neal, yeah.
Yeah,
so you never know. Dana might be feeling festive and generous.
Yeah, give some to Darn Jung. What was it? Less than 2 minutes?
It was quick. It was very quick. I don't know the exact time, but it was the fastest, most likely. It's just that's about it. Like, I'm excited to see what's next for him. You know, because definitely he didn't get injured in that fight, so they could probably put him in. And maybe they could send him stateside, because he's only fought in Asia twice, Shenzhen and this time in Korea, which is kind of similar to a few other fighters that were on the card. They all, I think Alatang fought in Shenzhen and in Korea, and he actually won both of those fights too.
Yeah, we'll get to Alatang in a bit, but before this one, we had Junyoung Park. Have I pronounced that right?
Junyoung Park. Yeah.
Okay. The Iron Turtle? Is that
Iron Turtle?
I love that nickname. Yeah.
It's a great nickname.
Yeah, he got the decision against Marc-Andre Barrio. Is that right? Yes, it was unanimous.
Sounds good. Yeah.
That sounds good. Yeah, not the best fight on the card, right?
It was, well, only because there were so many fun finishes. Yeah. I mean, overall, it was a fun night with lots of kind of crazy finishes, really. So they're the ones that stand out.
Yeah, I can't say I saw this whole fight. I was rushing back and forth. John, what did you make of it?
Park was winning the fight, I believe, throughout pretty much the whole thing, but in the third round, he was running away a lot. And then I talked to him after the fight, after he did the media with the Korean media, he did the interviews, and I asked him about, are you okay? How's your body? He's like, he injured his leg during the fight. So, he wasn't able to, do what he wanted to do in the last round. And that's why he was backpedaling so much throughout the fight.
Yeah.
But it's good that he got a win, because his last fight, I believe he had a terrible weight cut, and going into that fight, he was sick, and that's why he got finished, But, what can you say? You know what I mean? Everybody can have an excuse, but, that's what he told me. So, I believe.
It's what turtles do. They bounce back when they get flipped over.
Do they?
I don't know.
Have you flipped over a turtle recently?
Yeah.
Not recently, anyway.
Not recently. Not in what country? In Korea.
They're ninjas as well, some of them.
Yeah.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Yeah. It was. I didn't see the whole fight. I was battling all these stupid Wi-Fi issues. But the first fight on the main card, I did see. My boy Liu Pingyuan. I unfortunately, repping China, he did not win. He lost a split decision to Kyung Ho Kang. I was a bit surprised, actually, a split decision. I thought Kang kind of dominated every round. I think he was in control for about 12 of those 15 minutes, wouldn't you say?
Oh, definitely controlled it. But the Chinese fighter, he did some work, though. Because if you look at Kang's face, it was battered. I've never seen his face like that after a fight. His nose was triple the size. He had cuts all over, lacerations all over his face during the interviews, the post-fight interviews. And he was saying something interesting during the post-fight interview. He said this was the worst weight cut that he had, and he wasn't feeling very good, leading up to the fight and during the fight. Because I expected him to dominate. I felt like he underperformed in this one. Usually against the type of fighter that Liu was, Kang goes in there and pretty much finishes those types of fighters, but he didn't do it. But it says a lot about Liu.
Liu had Uriah Faber cornering him. pretty hectic few weeks for Faber, right? Cornered Song Yadong in Washington, then fought Peter Yan a week later. Pretty nasty fight. Then flies out to Korea. Good on Uriah, huh?
Still looked good tonight.
Yeah.
Still looked 20 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, what can you say?
His boy didn't get the win, unfortunately.
He didn't know. Like you say, I mean, it was a split decision, but it probably shouldn't have been a split decision.
Yeah, back to the drawing board at Team Alpha Male. The prelims, last fight on the prelims was pretty cool. Cyril Gahn beating Tanner Bosa, unanimous decision, 30-26 on all three cards, I think it was. Yeah. That 10-8 round, right at the end, was it? The third round? Yeah, pretty dominant for Cyril.
Yeah, it was. Everybody probably expected Cyril to go in there and finish Boser, but if you know Boser, he's a guy that is tough to finish. He's a guy that like wins fights, but in a weird way, you know, like it's not like the most entertaining style, but he's fought very high level competition, and Cyril kind of proved a lot in this fight, the way he fought him and got the decision. I was impressed with it.
6-0
Cyril now overall. Looks like an exciting prospect in this heavyweight division.
He certainly does. Like I say, I think he's people waiting for his first knockout in the UFC. He won his first two by submission. People thought it might happen tonight, but I don't know if you noticed, fighters with mullets never get knocked out. You can't mess with a mullet.
Yeah. Both surprised me a couple of times. I thought, oh, that's it. He's wobbling a little bit, but he weathered the storm really well. Showed he had a lot of heart, as you said, John. No shame in him losing.
Yeah. Well, there's always some shame in losing, right? You know, like I don't like losing at all, and I'm pretty sure these fighters don't like losing, especially in a fight, you know, where there's a lot of consequences. But yeah, Boser, I feel like he's going to be in the UFC for a long time. He has that style where he can beat guys, and then some guys will be able to, you know, beat him, and it will extend the career out for a long time. Going back to Cyril, I feel like they should give him a good matchup. A name at least, you know. I think that they could push him, but after the fight, he said he's not in a rush. He wants to take his time, right?
What did he tell us? London, maybe, he thought. It's close to home, so some of his family can come over and watch.
Yeah, he said he wanted to, because he fought 3 times last 4 months. He wants a few months rest. 2
of them in Asia back to back, right?
Yeah. Mentioned London, but I think that might be too early for him. March, if he wants 3 or 4 months away from the octagon. He said he wants to fight in Paris at the end of the year. He's obviously optimistic that MMA will be legalised there. It was supposed to be legalised 1st of January. They've pushed it back. Normally you push it back once. It's not normally a good sign, but he seemed confident that he'll be fighting in France by the end of 2020.
Well, we'll keep our eyes on that one for Cyril. We had Sung Woo Choi against Suman Mokhtarian. John, talk us through it. You know these guys pretty well.
Yeah, it pretty much went as I expected. You know, with Choi dominating on the feet. I didn't expect it to go to the ground as much, but
it looked like it might finish early than it did. You know?
Yeah, I felt like it could have been stopped in the first round, maybe. But I feel like that referee was the same referee that in Suman's first fight, in Mokhtarian's first fight in Australia, and there was a lot of complaining about an early stoppage. I'd have to go back and look at that, but I feel like that's the same ref, and he was giving him the benefit of the doubt because he didn't want to get caught up in there twice. So, but you know, props to Suman. He lasted out. He took some shots in that fight and continued to push forward. And you can never say he's not tough, but skill-wise, Choi just too skilled on the feet. You know, he's a Muay Thai champion. He's a Muay Thai national team member. You know, like when you're gonna go against a guy like that on the feet, it's gonna be a tough night.
Yep, clearly the right decision. Where did you rank this one, Leon Jennings and the Knights fight?
I disagree with everything John said, really. It was a great fight.
Give me this
Three.
thing. Yeah, we'll move on then. Dong Hyun Ma against Omar Morales. Your take, Leon. I have no clue what happened this one. I was just running around trying to get my computer.
Remind us.
Yeah.
It's
We were having so many problems with everything.
the highlight of that fight was Morales spinning heel kick,
Yeah.
and he got the knockdown, you know. And but other than that,
I'll take your word for it.
yeah, it seems like Ma wasn't fighting to win, and Morales pretty much picked that, and Morales kind of picked up on that and just went and just did what he wanted to do. He didn't get the finish, but I felt like if he would have been a little more aggressive, Ma would have just probably gave it to him. He had his, back to the wall in this fight, and he didn't fight like that, which was very surprising. Maybe because he's fighting at home. I don't know what was going on mentally, but it was a fight that wasn't too fun to watch, to be honest with you.
Yeah, not my favorite one of the night. This one was fun though. Alexandre Pantoja, Matt Snell, little war there. Two former teammates, right, on Ultimate Fighter. It was second round TKO, I want to say. Back and forth in the first round. It could have really gone either way.
Could have. I think Schnell, I thought, started a bit stronger, and it looked like it was going to be a little bit of an upset. And then, like I say, Pantoja just got better and better and got the finish.
Yep, and he kind of put himself in the frame, the title mix.
Well, yeah.
You think?
With the flyweight
The flyweight
title online, what is it, in UFC Norfolk, he's going to be up there with maybe being the new champion's first title defence.
Yeah, good to see the flyweight division living on.
Fly never die.
Fly never die. Congratulations, Henry Cejudo, Triple C, for saving it.
Kind of,
Yeah.
But I would have liked to see Cejudo defend it, but it's all good. Move on with the division, let it go, focus on the bantamweight division. The last couple of weeks have been interesting in the flyweight division because last week you had Kai Kara France fight Brendan Moreno, which is kind of a title contender kind of fight right there. I felt like if Kai would have won, they would have been talking about him, kind of challenging for the title next. But he didn't, so Brandon's up there now. And then this fight, I feel this fight was more important because the last fight, how it played out, and Pantoja just put himself in the number one position. So he should wait. He should wait until what's his name, Benavidez and Figueroa. That how that plays out. You just wait until who wins that and take the fight, the next challenge.
A nice little advert for all the flyweights too tonight, huh?
I was going to say, it's crazy that the flyweight division's even considered getting rid of it. It's such a fun division. And like I say, it's a shame. I think Henry did save the flyweight division. I think it looked like they were going to get rid of it. He's kind of saved it, and now he's moved on. Whether he would have defended it if he hadn't had the operation on his left shoulder, he's obviously had to have time away. But I think even if he hadn't, he wanted to defend that bantamweight title first. But I think it's a shame he didn't fight Joe Benavidez again. You'd thought he would have wanted to. It's the obvious title defence in the flyweight division. He's lost to him. I know he wants legends. I spoke to his coach, Captain America, last night, and he said he's coming after the legends. But yeah, we will. I mean, I'm not a fighter, but everyone wants to fight the legends. Everyone wants the legacy, but you've got to do what's kind of right. And if he was going to stick around the flyweight division, he'd have had to have, if he wanted to keep both belts, defend against Benavidez, who deserved the shot. Couldn't have it for ages because he lost twice to Demetrius Johnson, and he was always the number one contender, but they didn't want to give him the third fight. But like you say, the flyweight division can move on now and continue to just be one of the most fun divisions in the whole of the UFC.
And I don't think Henry wanted to cut the weight anymore. That's what Kai told the Post, South China Morning Post, exclusive. Makes sense?
It definitely makes sense. I think Kai told me the same thing
Yeah,
in my interview.
Don't
So
ruin
I
it.
don't think it's an exclusive. Don't believe that.
This is the South China Morning Post here. This isn't Kumite TV.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to invade into the territory, but
No.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I'll edit it out.
Yeah, it's nobody wants to cut weight. Nobody wants to cut weight. You know, if you.
I don't want to see fighters cut weight.
Yeah, exactly.
I think it's the most. I think my least favourite part
The mic in front of you.
of MMA fighting,
Yeah.
and for a sport that's potentially dangerous, although it's very safe considering how dangerous it should be. Weight cutting's the most dangerous aspect in the whole sport. And for me, the crazy thing is I think quite often you've got two guys that walk around the same weight, kill themselves to get down to X amount of weight, then put on the same amount of weight back on again, and enter the octagon weighing the same.
Yeah.
I know what they're all doing it for that little bit of advantage, but if the other guy's cutting as much weight as you, there is no advantage, and you're sucking your energy, you're affecting your performance. I think your health's at risk more. Yeah.
We won't get into this debate.
Yeah,
We could
probably
go all
not. We
night.
could do
Yeah.
that.
We've got to finish this card. Okay, Raoni Barcelos, Said Nurmagomedov. Raoni wins. Decision.
That's quite a fun one.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought Nurmagomedov started off really well. He looked so loose in there, so nice. He's on loose, relaxed, not wasting energy, unnecessary energy. Didn't work, he lost, but it was nice to see that looseness, and that was a good fight. And that was early on in the card, wasn't it? Yeah.
He'd been on a bit of a tear, hadn't he,
Yeah.
Said?
Well, he was too loose.
Maybe, yeah.
I mean, there was no urgency. And
Yeah.
Barcelos,
Yeah,
I
balance.
expected Barcelos to win myself. I've seen him fight many times, and he's a killer. He's like one of those guys that nobody knows about, but I feel like next year people are going to know who Barcelos is in that division.
You heard it here first. Okay. Oh, this was a big knockout. Big choke.
Big choke.
Yeah, a big old choke. I think it was a choke. Could barely see it.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, really naked. It was kind of
And an unusual.
unusual one. Yeah, that's what I'm getting at. Miranda Granger versus Amanda Lemos. I was rooting for Miranda because she came out to Will Smith's hit song "I'm Coming," which was on the Will 2K.
That's the name of the song, I'm coming.
Yeah, we
I
won't
didn't
go.
recognise
Yeah.
most of his songs. He kept going, oh, I want them to win. I love this walkout song.
Yeah, sometimes I'll base my, not prediction, but I don't know. It was a good song. It reminded me of when I was 13 years old or 11. Yeah, it was a pretty impressive finish.
Definitely, it was like you mentioned, a very awkward submission. It was, I would call it like the side saddle rear naked choke, where she was, and then she had her pressed against the fence, so there was nowhere to go. Very technical, knowing that your position and getting that choke in, and man, she put her to sleep, which was whenever someone's she's so tough. Granger's tough. She's gonna be a good fighter, I believe. I think we're gonna see her improve in the UFC. She has good skill set. Maybe she underestimated Lemos on the ground, but I don't think I think that's gonna benefit Granger in the future.
Lemos was jumping around, celebrating as well. I love to see that passion.
Yeah, that passion. And like I say, she was out cold. Granger. There's two fighters in the card called Dangers, isn't there?
Inherent danger.
Double danger.
Double danger.
And both of them got finished.
Oh.
So
Not dangerous enough.
yeah, danger's the other way.
Yeah. Danger to yourself.
Danger to yourself.
Yeah, okay. And then
That could be your nickname.
yeah.
Fighter, Nick. Danger to myself.
Exactly.
Atkin.
Yeah. Fatkin at the moment.
Atkin diet.
Gone off my keto diet in Korea. It's really tough to just not eat everything here. They're not very good with your vegan diet, are they?
No,
Yeah.
but I toughed it out.
I didn't tough it out. I caved. I'm ashamed of myself. First fight, my boy Alateng Haley, the Mongolian Knight, getting that win against. No, he did get the win. Yeah, what am I thinking? Against Ryan. They pronounced it as Benoit. Is that right? I want to say Benoit.
No, it's Benoit.
Benoit. Okay. I'm just thinking Chris Benoit, but we won't go down that rabbit hole. You know Chris Benoit, right?
No, of course.
Yeah, let's not talk about Chris Benoit. Ryan Benoit. Alateng, it was split decision. Back-to-back wins for Alateng. Now one of our UFC China Shanghai Performance Academy graduates. He's clearly getting the benefit of that awesome facility they've got there, the state-of-the-art facility, isn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely is. He's just
He's been fighting for a while, and he's got a few losses. But.
And I feel like that technology, you need to have that. You need to have the machines. You can't just be training in the mountains anymore. If you're doing that and winning titles, then you must be on some special stuff.
Yeah. Well, we had an interview with him fairly recently, and he was talking a little bit about that. Just saying, it's the recovery machines they've got, like the cryotherapy chamber, all that stuff, the sauna. It goes that little bit of extra difference so that you can train a bit more the next day than you would without it, right?
Yeah, it looks amazing, but I kind of disagree a little bit. And there's a couple of great books out where they've sort of looked into talent and where talent comes. I'm getting a bit of a tangent here, but most of the talent hotbeds come from, like say in the mountains, it comes from like a tennis club that's got no facilities, because it makes people hungry. When you have amazing facilities, yeah, it's brilliant, but it just people seem to lose their hunger a little bit, get a little bit spoiled. So I guess it's getting that balance, really. You need technology, you need advancement in science, but keep it real.
Yeah. As a former tennis coach, would you say the same about, it's like Roehampton, isn't it? And the facilities are all there.
Yeah, it's a bit like I mentioned tennis. I mean, there's a club in Russia that just had 2 tennis courts, nothing else, and it produced more players at one point in the top 100 than the whole of the US. And then you've got places like Team Lekai as well, up in the mountains, finished last year 4 champions in 1 championship. And you've got the runners in Kenya that all come from this one little village that are breaking the whole numerous world records. You've got footballers from Brazil that come from nothing. There just seems to be a
different strokes for different folks. Maybe China needed those facilities to grow.
But then on the flip side, you got American Top Team with 20 champions, and they have all the facilities. I think it's all mental. Once you get the facilities, once you get all the technology, if you keep the mental side strong, you could it's limitless. You could go to the moon with your talents.
I guess as well though, from the top that you've gone there already and you've built yourself up, you've built that hunger, the technique, and then you're perfecting it. I think maybe at a young age, when you're young, that's when you might need to maybe keep it raw and keep you hungry. And for a lot of people, fighting is a way out of poverty, a way out of getting a better life for themselves and their family. Maybe get that and then move to American Top Team or Shanghai Performance Institute.
Or Stanford MMA.
Yeah.
Stanford, yeah.
What a tangent we went on there.
I like tangents, though.
Yeah, tangents are the best. It was overall pretty fun card, end of the year. Did you have a little bit of a vibe that it was, we have a phrase in England, like after the Lord Mayor's show, which is kind of like everyone just wants it to be over. There's a feeling of deflation slightly, or kind of welcome relief. Is that right?
Never heard that saying.
You've never heard that?
No.
Okay. What I'm trying to say is UFC 245 was, pretty big, nice finish to that. And it's like, we've still got one more show. There was a little bit of vibe to me that everyone was just ready for the year to be over, or go to Christmas holidays and things, but still a fun card.
Oh, definitely. It kind of felt that way. Just overall, it was like, of course, the Korean Zombie and Frankie Edgar were fighting, but in a way, it's a filler card. They just needed to have one more show at the end of the year, and they filled it in. and I enjoyed it. You know, I'm okay with it. I don't mind it. But I'm ready to see the fights for next year because they already got them all lined up for the first quarter, and they are bangers. Bangers.
You know, you mentioned it. That could have been a mindset. I didn't really think of that. I mean, like you say, how do you follow UFC 245?
Yeah.
It's the second from last card. It was
Drama.
brilliant, full of drama. And then, we've got one more card. And in fact, I was almost referring last week to the last card of the year. But then, as soon as I get here, I forgot that I was thinking that. And then I just thought, it was a really fun card. Great way to not just finish the year, it's the last UFC event of the decade.
Yeah.
And like you say, finish kind of a bang. And now, like you say, so many good fights first quarter of 2020 to look forward to.
Yeah. Have we got anything before McGregor, or is that it?
This first UFC card. Yeah.
Yeah.
January
I mean,
18th.
I'm going to be in Macau 28th of December for Legend FC.
Yeah, that's
And then we got Ryzen and Bellator, right?
yes, I mean, we're just talking UFC, but there's still, and there's the PFL final as well in New Year's Eve as well. So really, there's still a lot of MMA to come in this decade.
Yeah. It never stops. Your fight of the night, John?
Fight of the night, I'd have to say they got it right.
Yeah.
Superboy, Jourdain, that was the fight of the night. That was pretty balanced. It's just, most of the fights were either finishes or they were just kind of dominant on one side, even though there were some split decisions.
There's a bit of everything.
Yeah.
Isn't there? There's a lot of fun finishes. There's some one-sided matches, and then there was a few very close ones. But I agree. I think they got the fight of the night right. I think, especially as it's the festive time of the year, they could have given out a few more bonuses.
Yeah.
But there were some cards where you think they're the obvious bonuses, and there were some you think, damn, how are they going to pick 4? Because there's sometimes 6, 7, 8 guys that really deserved it. So Dana, if you're watching,
Yeah.
it's Christmas.
Yeah, it's a good way to end the year for UFC, I thought. I didn't get shot in the eye with a t-shirt gun like the last show for one championship.
Yeah, that was so we've basically covered the last one and UFC cards of the decade, and you took one in the eye.
Yeah.
But I think they might have just got a bit. I thought, Austin Powers.
Yeah,
but you've lost a little bit of the Austin Powers look with the bum fluff.
But I would say I'm ready for a break from. I just want to go home. It's been a long few months, hasn't it? Of so much MMA.
So much.
Yeah. Well, we're just talking absolute garbage now. So probably go to bed and maybe have a couple of beers.
Not in that order.
Yeah. Cheers. Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Thanks, Leon.
Thank you.
And thank you. Merry Christmas.